Here we are, part 2 of the VEVOR. Here we are, part 2, the VEVOR 1215 heat press, and it is sitting behind me here. Right now I have the mug press on here. I'm going to show you how to use this. We're going to be doing 11-ounce ceramic mugs, kind of look like this. I've already got a couple of them wrapped. I've got a couple more to do. Wrap, say 11-ounce mugs. I would imagine this will do a 16-ounce if you leave the screw backed all the way out. I'm going to show you this adjustment here. You're going to want to set your adjustment on your press so that it is quite firm against the mug. So to do that, you will take your mug and slip it in. And yes, this element comes in and out. That's the way it's made. That's not unusual. So that when you close it, it compresses the sponge somewhat and you get a really tight fit in there. You don't want it loose or you'll end up with a blurry image or it won't transfer properly. Now to adjust that, there's a knob right here that you can turn either in or out depending on how big your mug is. So if you had a 16-ounce mug, you would want to back this off, but I'm doing 11-ounce mugs, so that's the size we're using here. Now, connecting this to the controller, you can either leave the controller attached to the heat press or you can take it off and set it over here separate. I've decided to do it separate because it's a little bit less clutter on my desk here, and this is keyed just like the other one was if you watch part 1. Of course, every mug press is different, so I'm going to go with some of the settings I've used in the past with other mug presses, and we will see how that goes. That's 400 degrees for 200 seconds. So I'm going to turn this on. Got my beep there. Okay, so I need to, I went through this on part 1 on how to set your time and temperature, so I'm going to get that done here. So I'm set for 400 degrees and 200 seconds. The press is heating up right now. And while it's heating up, okay, so the question I'm going to get, what size paper do you use? What size graphics do you use? For this particular brand of mug, it's made by a company called Mugsy. That's where we buy our sublimation mugs from. It is 3 3/4 by 9 1/4. So you'll need, this is a graphic I'm going to be using here. It's printed on sublimation paper with sublimation ink, and these are sublimation mugs. You can't just like go to Dollar Tree and pull a mug off the shelf and come home and expect to sublimate it. It has to have that sublimation coating on it. So it's just a matter of putting my graphic on here and getting it straight and centered. And then some heat tape to keep it in place. Make sure you have your paper wrapped on there good and tight. Don't have any little lumps or wrinkles in it because that'll show up in your finished product. I did a video a while back on how we mass produce these when we do large batches at once. So if you check back on my channel a ways back, it might have been 2 years ago we did that video, but it goes into great detail on how to get everything set up and how to do this en masse, so to speak. So that's all there is to the prep. We'll let this warm up. Once it gets warmed up, we'll press a mug. Okay, I got the little beep that's telling me that it is up to temperature, so I can slide my mug in here. Put that up the rest of the way. Get it centered up where I want it. So the handle is up and centered. Lock it in place. Hit start, and it'll count down. I don't know, you probably can't see that, but the timer's counting down, and I'm not going to let this, you're not going to sit there and watch me watch this for 200 seconds, but you get the idea. When we get down to the end and I pull this off, we'll come back. So there's the beep. That means fries are done. So we can open the press up. obviously you're going to want to grab it by the handle because the mug itself is extremely hot. I'm going to set it on a trivet here and let it cool off before I peel the paper. Do not try to hot peel that. You might end up with some ghosting. And I have other mugs to do here, but before I do those, I want to take a look at this because, as I said, every mug press is a little bit different. So I'm going off the temperatures I use on my other mug presses. In fact, if you really want to get into doing a lot of mugs, VEVOR makes an automatic mug press. I've got one on the other side of the loft over there next to the tumbler press that we use when we mass produce mugs. Okay, I'm quite pleased on how this came out. Same thing on both sides. So now I'm going to make these other 3 that I've got sitting here, so we'll have a set of 4. Again, when you place your mug in there, make sure that you get everything centered, especially if your graphics are getting kind of close to the handle. You want to make sure you get that heat pad all the way up there. And latch it, hit start, and we're off to make another one. I should also mention that while you're in this process, you may hear this unit click. It'll click and a little bit later you hear another click. That is nothing wrong with it. There's a relay inside of that is turning the heating element on and off. So that is the sound you hear of contacts opening and closing. So here, beet fries are done. I can take this one off. Sit over here on my trivet. Put another one in. Make sure I get everything centered up like I want it. And hit start. Just that simple. Okay, so I got my little set of 4 mugs here. That's something to demonstrate this with. So I'm going to let this cool off, and I'm going to bring the other press back over here. The big part of it, we'll change the top plating into what they call a plate press, and I'll show you some things you can do with that besides doing plates. And when I speak of plates, you can get sublimation coated ceramic plates that you can sublimate photographs onto or any kind of graphics you like. And don't go to the dollar store and grab some plates off the thing and think they're going to work, because they won't. They have to be coated for sublimation. But I'll show you how that gets set up, and we're going to do something a little bit different with it. Something I like to do with the smaller platens are when I'm doing small objects, like let's say an individual coaster or some ornaments or something like that. The small platen is ideal for that because you don't need to heat that great big area up when you're only doing little things. So get this cooled off and we'll come back, get the other one set up. Alrighty, got the press back over here, so we're going to take this platen off, and I have the wire disconnected already. So you get your handy dandy screwdriver there, Phillips. You go down in these holes and you loosen them Phillips screws up a few turns. Boy, who's the gorilla that tightened that one up? I think I know who it might have been. Okay, once it'll slide them key slots, it'll drop right out. So you can remove that. Well, this comes with 2 different platens. We're going to use a small one here because we're going to be doing some small ornaments and a couple coasters. So here we'll just get this untangled a little bit, and you'll need to back the screws off that are in the top just a little bit so they'll go into the key slots. Slip right back like so, and we can tighten that up. And here again, this is keyed. It only goes in there one way. And oh, by the way, if you're trying to set your settings without element plugged in, you'll get an error code. You won't be able to set anything. So you make sure you have something plugged in when you go to put your settings in there. Okay, we are obviously way too high here, so we're going to have to lower this down. I'll get my little sample here. Well, it needs a little more than that yet. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, what I'm doing here, these are MDF sublimation coated Christmas ornaments. And sometimes they come with a plastic film on it. It's really hard to see. So if you don't peel that plastic film off first and you sublimate on it, you're going to be really disappointed because you're going to have a mess. So I've got my graphics here, and I'll show you a little trick I do, because we're going to put graphics on both sides of this ornament, but you can't press both sides at once. But to make this easier, I will put one on each side, and you should be able to see through the back of your sublimation paper so you can get everything up and straight. Then I'll take heat tape and tape around it. So now what I will do when I press this is I will press this side, and when that side's done, I'll move the press out, I'll flip it over, and I'll press the other side, right, just one right after the other. But first we got to get some temperatures going here. We'll turn this on. And hit my little wrench here for settings, and I do not want 400 degrees. I want 365. And hit it again. We'll get down here to time. I don't want 200 seconds. I want 60 seconds. Then again, okay, we'll let it get warmed up here. Now, what's the difference between this type of press and a clamshell press? And by I mean a clamshell press is one that opens and closes like this, and it's hinged at the back. If you have a particular thick thing you're working with, and I'm going to grab something here, this is not something you would sublimate on, but let's say you had something this thick. In a clamshell press, you'd have a lot of pressure on the back, but not enough on the front. With this type of press, where it presses straight down, you can account for that, that thick material. And that's one of the advantages of this type of press, that and it being swing away. You can swing it out of the way while you're changing your work. You just got the little beep beep, so we're heated up, we're ready to go. Get that over here kind of centered a little bit. Press that down, hit start. Okay, there's our beep, so that side's done. I'll do this, I'll swing this out of the way. Move my paper here, flip this over. Put paper back in here again. Make sure we're under the plating. Push down, hit start. Take this and I'll lay it on this glass trivet over here to cool off. And I'll set my next one in. Same procedure. And so this is what we end up with after it cools off and you can peel it. So next I've got these little, they're called car coasters. You put them in your car, in your cup holders. And they got a little notch in there so you can get them back out again to clean them or whatever. So I'm going to do a couple of those. Here again, you should be able to see through your sublimation paper enough to get that straight in there. This goes in for the same amount of time. And it's the same thickness as the other one there, or that's those ornaments, so I can just get that under there. That's why I said this small plate press is great for little projects like this. Okay, those things will curl when they're hot, but they will flatten back out on their own. So it ends up looking like this. Yeah, everything has the same theme here because I'm working on something for an organization, so that's why everything is having the same theme here. And then throw another one of them on here just quick. Reason I'm using this butcher paper is to make sure that if the ink should bleed through, it doesn't get onto the plate or onto the sponge. And another question I get is, do I just use one sponge pad or both sponge pads? You can use both if you want. You can stack them up. Doesn't hurt a thing. I prefer to use the firmer one unless I've got a really thick object, and then in which case I'll go with the softer sponge here, the lighter one. This one's got more give to it, which lets whatever you're pressing on sink down in a little bit more. So there's part 2 of the VEVOR TL1215 heat press and a couple of the attachments, the mug press, and of course these plate presses. If you're doing plates, I have no plates to do. That's not something we do here, but these small platens are ideal for these little small projects because you can really see what you're doing under there. There's also a hat press that comes with this that is going to be the subject of another video because I do not have any hats here to press. So it'd be kind of hard to demonstrate that. I need to order some. And again, they need to have sublimation coating on them or be 100% polyester on the front right here to be able to sublimate to. You can't just take any old cotton hat and sublimate it. It won't work. So there'll be a link in the description, of course, on where to get one of these, and I'll put a links in on some of the other things that I've used here in case you were curious to want to do a few of those things on your own. Once you get into this, you're going to get addicted. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up. Always helps the shop. I'm Roger in the loft above the shop. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.